Hi there, I'm Emmy Laybourne. Thank you so much for joining me on this little video blog entry. I want to talk to you about what I learned from my career as an actor that I use in my career as a novelist today. I started out doing comedy improv back in New York in the late, not late, mid-90s. And there was this incredibly wild, fantastic scene in the Lower East Side where people you'd write a bit and go up that night and perform it at Luna Lounge. And it was filled with the incredibly creative people, many of them who are famous stars today. People like Louis C.K. and Randy and Jason Sklar and Zach Galifianakis and all the guys from the state who've gone on to do all kinds of incredible things. And there was a sense of risk-taking that was so exciting in that time. I remember it with such fondness. I also worked with and studied with the UCB, and I had the incredible pleasure of performing with Amy Poehler and Matt Besser and Ian and Matt Walsh. Sorry, Ian, I forgot your name there for a second. I'm sure it will come back to me. But what I learned from those guys was to keep it realistic, always. That you would do a scene, and it could be a scene about a guy who's got a banana stuck in his armpit, but you're going to just treat that, you're going to react completely normally. And I really used that when writing Monument 14 in the trilogy. When something would happen, I would think, okay, how would you react? How would you react if you were on your way to school in a school bus and it was hit with a killer hailstorm? Or how would you react if you came across the girl you love making out with somebody else? Would you scurry away? Would you announce yourself? Or would you kind of watch for a second and feel weird about it? So I used a lot of stuff from when I was an actor. I also used the way I write is really informed by my work as an improviser. When you're improvising, you go on stage. It's like you're an athlete. You know, you're going on stage, you don't know what's going to happen. You have to be ready for anything. And so as a writer, I write that way. I'm well fed, I'm well rested. I eat 3 meals a day with protein. I don't mess around. I'm not out getting drunk a lot. I certainly was back in the days when I was doing comedy, but now, I want to be at my total best. When I sit down at the keyboard, I'm giving it my best juice. It's not what I have left over at the end of the day. It's not what I'm sneaking away from my kids. It's like 9 to 12. Those are my best hours of the day. And every day I want to be writing so I can really harness my best creative ideas. And I think lastly, I learned from being an improviser not to criticize myself while I'm working. I'm a real believer that you can't create art and judge it simultaneously. Of course, there's a time to judge your work. You write it, and then you print it out, and then you read it. But if you sit there trying to judge your work while you're writing, you just don't get anywhere. It's like, the day was hot and stormy, that's terrible, delete, delete, delete. The day was messy, delete, delete, delete. The night was, your internal critic just sits there and bashes every idea you have away. So when I write, I'm really trying to stay in the creative zone and not get negative and get critical. Thanks so much for joining me here on my blog tour, and I hope that you will. I have a copy of Savage Drift somewhere. Here it is. Savage Drift. This is the book that's out right now, and read it and see if you get the sense of my creative oomph in there. Thanks. Bye-bye.